I am the doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got two hearts, your life is saved. Run into the master, raw Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not rich. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else? Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride. It's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space. Oh, what's that? Exterminate.
Cybermen or Daleks, maybe.
Would you like a jelly baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go. A new adventure, Geronimo. I am fantastic, so are you. Best come with me. I'm Doctor Who. Welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH, Doctor Who, What, When, Where, How, or D, 4 W's and a H. I am one of your hosts, Adam O'Sullivan, trying to escape the terrible things that I've done by talking about them on this podcast.
Oh, God.
Joining me as always, you heard her sigh just then, is my delightful companion, the only one who actually knows how to fly this TARDIS. It's Nicchia.
Hello, Adam.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm busy flying the TARDIS.
Sorry.
I wish you wouldn't distract me.
Otherwise we'll end up in a time period we don't understand.
Exactly.
We are joined today by a very talented Brisbane comedian, all-round nice guy, and quintessential 30s Coke man and lotto winner. It's Sam Bowden.
How you doing? Hi,
How you
everybody.
doing?
I'm good. Did you say 30s Coke
30s
winner?
Coke man. You're in that
30s
Coke ad.
Man. Oh, yeah. Oh, I am too.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was like, hold on. Okay, last time I was doing Coke.
Not cocaine.
I was like, hold on. Were you there? Were we dressed at a 30s party? How's you making me go back into all the awful things I've done as well immediately? I was like, what does Adam know that I've forgotten?
You're escaping the cocaine wars.
Yeah. I just got back from Cuba. Real rough.
Do you want to go through your history with Doctor Who?
Yeah, sure. It's a pretty short history.
Okay, that's fine.
I have never been a Doctor Who fan.
Okay, that's fine. Great,
Ever.
fantastic.
Which is great that we got you on a Doctor Who podcast.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Yeah, you guys are welcome. But like through high school, my friendship circle, they loved Doctor Who. Like they were nuts about Doctor Who. I was seeing someone who was crazy about Doctor Who as well. And then I went to the UK and everyone's nuts about Doctor Who
totally.
in the UK. And so I'm like, I have to watch an episode of Doctor Who. And I watched a David Tennant episode.
Oh, yes, good choice.
Well, that's what people told me. And I watched it and I got 20 minutes in and I was like, someone find me a gun.
Oh, really?
Do you know what episode it was?
I don't.
Oh, okay. That's
However, in saying that, it got redeemed because a little while later, incidentally, I ended up watching a Matt Smith one.
Oh, yeah.
Who I think actually, the limited that I know, I think is my favourite Doctor.
There you go. You just had to find your doctor, you know.
Yeah, I think it's my favourite. And apparently it's a really popular episode, the one that I really enjoyed, which was where they're on a giant space whale.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Liz 10, yeah.
But he was my favourite. I was being like, I should watch the Peter Capaldi ones because I've seen pockets of the thick of it and I've really liked it. And I had this idea of this grumpy, sweary Doctor.
Yeah, you can get those from memes online. But I think if Matt Smith's your doctor, I say stick with him.
Yeah,
All right,
I do
okay,
too.
okay.
I do too. I don't think Peter would appeal to you.
All right, okay.
He's grumpy without the swearing, really, at the beginning.
Right. Other than that, I've kind of really sort of dismissed it as campy trash.
I've certainly dedicated my life to that campy trash, so thanks for that, Sam.
Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm talking to like my family who are super religious. Where I'm like, don't you
Sam,
see it's not real?
You never come round for Christmas to go to church, and our church is obviously sitting in front of the TV watching the Doctor Who Christmas special.
We've got some pamphlets on our Whovianism. Can I help you?
We'd like to talk to you about Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
What are your tax break situations like as Doctor Who fans?
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Right,
good.
okay.
We spend all our tax breaks on Doctor Who merchandise.
Oh, right, so you're feeding it back into the Doctor Who economy.
basically.
It's a cycle of commerce.
I was going to say, it sounds like a self-sustaining economy, quite
that's
frankly.
right.
That's the version of The Lion King I haven't seen. It's the Circle of Commerce.
Oh, yeah, the Circle of Commerce.
Where they just sell The Lion King.
That was a great version of the Lion
Thank
King.
you.
I gotta
I'm
tell
sorry,
you.
I wasn't Will Smithing it up there.
No, you shouldn't.
He's in Aladdin.
Oh, he is. I just saw the shorts for that.
He's going to rap.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, that's...
Oh, no, he can't
that's
rap.
cool.
The genie doesn't rap.
Well,
Robin Williams
we'll
didn't
see.
rap.
Yeah, I know, but it's not Robin Williams, is it?
It's a cool black guy now, Nicchia.
Cool black blue guy.
Yeah, well, he's kind of blue. It's a cool blue guy.
I don't know. No one will ever be as good as Robin Williams is the genie. But
Okay.
anyway, I'll live.
Oh, will you? Oh, that's
Well,
good.
What Faustian bargain have you made with Will Smith?
It was a really shit one for me.
There was that one movie where he played the devil, and it was terrible.
What movie was that?
Oh, what is it called?
I don't know.
Colin.
I'm not a huge Will Smith fan.
What's the angry guy? Angry Irish guy.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah. He's in it.
The angry Irish guy, and I knew.
That really checks out, immediately. Yeah.
Let's start as we always do with Doctor Who news. Now, do you guys watch Call the Midwife?
No.
Well, all I know is that Miranda Hart is on the show and that my mum loves it.
She's not on it anymore.
Oh, isn't she?
No, she left.
Oh, well, I have no reason to watch it then.
You never had.
Yes, exactly. Except it's how Graham learnt how to give birth.
That's true. That's true.
Now, what does the show have to do with our beloved Doctor Who? If you watch Call the Midwife, I assume you will already know what I'm talking about. In the current season, Season 8 is set in 1964. Episode 4, which aired in February 2019, featured one of the older nuns, Sister Monica Joan, watching an episode of Doctor Who featuring William Hartnell. The episode in question is the Aztecs, and one of the older nurses leaves the room exclaiming, "I can't be doing with this. Grown men running around in fancy dress, making out a phone box can travel through time and space."
That sounds like my mother, who has no
sounds like everyone who doesn't watch Doctor Who.
I love that I'm on a podcast of a TV show that I don't really watch, talking about a TV show I definitely have never watched. Watching the TV show I thought I was on to talk about it, only to dismiss it the same way my mum would. Like you just said. Oh my God, the layers here.
Hey, you just got to talk about a movie you're never going to see.
I know, that's next is books I'm not going to read.
Books you'll never read.
Oh, the Bible, am I right? Anyway.
He grew up in a religious family.
Yeah,
He's read it.
I've read that more than enough times, man. Still holds up.
Yes, it needs more Doctor, though. Has the Doctor ever done a biblical story?
I don't think it needs a doctor. Have you heard of Lazarus?
Yeah.
Jesus got that shit covered.
Pew, 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 pew.
He fires it out of his finger guns. That's what
That's
the Bible
right.
doesn't say, is that he points and he shoots.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's what they don't say, is that he brought Lazarus back to the dead, but he also fucking killed him as well. So
Yeah,
that
was
he was covering his
It's
mistake.
really just covering up his own.
He's like, I brought Lazarus back. I also made him forget the last 5 minutes of his life. Why did you do that? Oh, I don't know.
Because I can.
It's actually what the movie Memento is based on.
The younger nurses then suggest putting on the wireless instead, but Sister Joan tries to sway them by describing the episode. But it's so exciting. The doctor's assistant has just been mistaken for an ancient high priestess who seeks to exploit her influence to outlaw human sacrifice.
Okay.
Does that make you want to watch the episode? Or?
No.
Okay. Some fans have also pointed out that Doctor Who being a show on Call the Midwife creates a paradox, considering that in the Sarunga Conundrum, Graham says he learnt all he knows about birthing procedures by watching Call the Midwife, or it could be just that the Call the Midwife writers enjoy shout-out on the show so much that they had to return the favour.
Maybe.
So if Call the Midwife is a show in Doctor Who, that means Doctor Who is also now a show in Doctor Who because Doctor Who is a show on Call the... Anyway, it's all wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Guys, let me show you this chart I made.
Okay, here's a coaster. Isn't that what Chris Martin said?
Yeah.
Chris Martin said every time someone asks, he asks him how do they explain the TARDIS. He said he'll always get some angry person go, "Oh, dickhead, here's a coaster. Now I'm going to move it away. See?" And he goes, "No." And that's
Yeah, no, I don't understand that either.
I was going to say, when you came on the podcast, did you think we were just going to sit here and tell you about other episodes that we've done?
movies you'll never see.
So episode 1 of
Episodes
D4WH.
he's never listened to.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've been on other podcasts. There's sometimes it just descends into, oh, do you remember that last episode? It was so fucking good. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay,
Thanks for
cool.
being here, Sam. We'll get to you in a minute. Today, we are going all the way back to the start. No, not to the 60s, which we just mentioned, although we may do some of that in the future. The start, for most modern Whovian fans, including myself, was the 2005 relaunch featuring Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor and Billy Piper as his companion Rose. Our episode today is Rose. Season 1, Episode 1. Written by Russell T Davies and directed by Keith Bowick. This is the first new episode of Doctor Who since its cancellation in 1989.
This has been a long time between drinks for me.
However, the Doctor was also seen in various forms since, including a TV movie released in 1995.
6.
No, it was 95.
6.
It was 95.
All right, you two can fight later.
This sounds like the arguments we have at my family about Port Arthur.
What year it happened, or if it happened?
Well, both.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, I didn't know your mum was Pauline Hanson.
No, stepdad.
Oh,
no, I can't. Stop. I can't get into this conspiracy theory now because it's the world's best conspiracy theory and no one's heard it. But we'll talk about that later.
All right.
Okay, all
Well, we
right.
talk about conspiracy theories in this episode. So, I knew Billy Piper who plays the companion from her singing career.
We didn't personally know her.
She's
Like, you weren't buds.
Oh, she's a musician.
She started off as a pop star, yes. I had the CD single of Because We Want To.
How does it go now?
Why you gotta play that song so loud? Because we want to. Because we want to.
That's it.
Why you always gotta run around in crowds? Because we want to. Because we want to.
And then Honey to the...
Honey to the beat, that's you for me.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes. I added Because You Want to many a mixed CD party mix.
Fair enough.
And that shows how old I am.
Did you walk around and put your hands up and go, because I want to?
Fuck yeah. That was the move from the video clip. Are you serious? Did either of you know Billie Piper from her singing career? Or do you know Billie Piper from anything?
I knew that she was a big Doctor Who girl. When I watched the episode, I was like, oh, yeah, I recognize the name. And then I saw her and I was like, yeah, I know you.
I
know you.
I know you. I know
You're
you.
a bit hot.
She's cute, but she's cute in that weird sort of English way.
Yeah, I love her unusual look.
Yeah.
She's very smiley. But the thing is, as she's gotten older, she's gotten more smiley. So you see a picture of her now and you're like, it's like half of her face is teeth.
I'm just having a gander now. I'm not just getting on my phone.
And what about you?
Because he's bored.
Nicchia, did you know Billie Piper before the show?
I knew her from her music. It's not my era, but as your kids are growing up, you want to try and keep in contact with the music that they're listening to, just so you're not one of those boring people.
She's Secret Diary of a Call Girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, I have watched a lot of that.
I'm surprised you've heard of it because it is a secret.
It is, it's not a very well kept secret though.
Right, very sexy and hot in that.
Yeah, no, that was me looking for
Yeah, there's
some
parts of that
hornback
I've watched
material.
over and over again too.
Yeah.
Did anyone know Christopher Eccleston?
I did because I'd seen him in The Second Coming.
Yeah, I saw The Second Coming after I knew he was on Doctor Who.
I did too.
It's quite good, actually. I like The Second Coming. Also written by Russell T Davies, who is our showrunner.
Yes, and he was also the husband on the movie with Nicole Kidman. That's the spooky one where she kills the kids.
Not the hours.
Sorry, I just gave it away.
He was also in Shallow Grave, which I realised after.
Ah.
And I didn't know anything about Russell T Davies. However, I did watch the first series of the US version of Queer as Folk. So
there you go.
Is Russell T Davies Queer as Folk?
Yeah, he did the English version.
He did the English version.
Which had an Australian
US
in it.
version.
Who was the Australian in Queer as Folk?
Peter. He's been in Doctor Who. He was in The Waters of Mars. You will all know him when I tell you.
I'll do the heavy lifting, everybody.
Excuse
It's
me.
not like we have a tech who's sitting here staring blankly at us.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
Waters of Mars, the Doctor Who special.
Okay, you could have just said, Beck, could you look that up?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, am I stealing your job, Beck?
Steal away if you want to be our tech every...
Is this a vital role?
Yeah, you'd so survive
We'll
without
start
me.
every episode
We are not
half hour
going
late.
anywhere in life without Beck.
Oh, it's got Aidan Gillen in it and Charlie Hunman. Wow, okay. I need to watch Queer as Folk.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sorry, I'm sorry for getting distracted.
No,
I'm
that's
just
all
like
right.
doing
And
my
it's got an
research.
Australian guy in it.
Let's start with our short synopsis of the episode.
Okay.
Rose Tyler is just an ordinary person. She wakes up in the morning, goes to her job in a department store, and hangs out with her boyfriend, Mickey.
She's not an ordinary person. She's a chap.
Okay, all right. Well, I didn't want to demean her so early in the episode. But one chance encounter with a mysterious man calling himself the Doctor will change her entire life. The Doctor and Rose must work together to take down the Nestine consciousness before it uses living plastic to turn all of the shop dummies against the human race. Will the Nestine consciousness negotiate, or will the Doctor be forced to use the deadly anti-plastic?
Is it Nestine?
Nestine.
I thought it was
Nestine.
just nesting. I thought because it was in that vat, I was like, oh, it's nesting.
I thought you were going to say you thought it was Nestle. Everyone must drink quick. It's better than Milo. It's fucking not.
No, it's not. It's hideous.
You can't put quick on your friggin' ice cream, that's for
I
sure.
have Nesquik every day.
Well, hold on, yeah, I'm
Weirdo.
kind of in,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of in
You
Beck's
drink-
corner here.
What? Weirdos.
You drink coffee from a bowl.
No, because chocolate Nesquik. Sorry, in the bin.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I agree. It's in the bin. It's got too much good competition.
Yep.
Strawberry, vanilla, and banana when you find it.
Oh.
Oh,
Really?
baby.
Okay,
Oh, I
all
love
right,
it.
I'll give you that.
Caramel one's pretty trash, but all the other
Still
ones
wouldn't
are
put it on your ice cream.
The name of the guy you're looking for was Peter O'Brien.
That's it. Peter O'Brien.
See, I can do my job still.
Australian
Ooh,
guy.
thank you, Beck. You can stay. We start our episode with the Doctor Who theme. Have you heard the Doctor Who theme before? Do you know of it?
Yeah, no, it's embedded in my memory from high school.
It's quintessential. Everyone
Of course, yeah,
knows
because you had
it.
friends running around singing it.
I hear it, and have you seen The Manchurian Candidate? You know, when I just stand up and sort of glaze over and
And then try and assassinate a
try and
world
attack
leader.
the closest nerd.
Oh dear.
Killing
Well, we won't start playing it today.
But
then.
I do it. But in saying that, I do beat them to death with all my Star Wars memorabilia. So it doesn't really.
It's
Doesn't count.
My box set of Lord of the Rings.
it's a real hypocritical death.
Oh yeah.
He died a hypocritical death. You mean Hippocratic? No.
No, hypocritical.
As I said before, Rose is an ordinary teenager living in London and working at Henrik's department store. Apparently, at this store, you can just wear whatever you want as a uniform.
Gee,
Yeah, that's.
she doesn't really dress for the job,
She
does
just
she?
wears a jeans and a shirt.
I know, and a jumper.
And then it didn't even click with me that she was at work in the first
You
5
thought
minutes.
she was just picking up bundles of shirts and like moving them around.
It was kind of a little unclear to me
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I know
yeah.
she was in Piccadilly Circus and with Mickey, who, by the way, has to go down, and I know this has stiff competition, as one of the worst actors in a Doctor Who episode. He sucks.
Do you know, he comes back and he
Does he?
becomes a companion and he really, really grows on you.
Oh,
But
Oh,
Okay,
really?
all
No,
right.
not for me.
Oh, he
I
grew-
would say
he-
he's one of the worst companions
no,
ever.
he grew on me when he went, after he met Ricky, when he got tougher.
I can see that, but I still think he should have left after the first episode. I don't think he should have been part of the show anymore. Noel Clarke, fantastic actor, writer,
Great
director,
writer, yeah.
fantastic. But the way that they've written Mickey is terrible.
Wait, Noel Clarke is also a writer and director of Doctor Who.
No, other things.
Of other things. He's actually quite lauded for some
Oh,
of the stuff
okay.
he does. But his character is so underdeveloped,
Yeah.
comic relief. He's meant to be the throwaway boyfriend.
But that's all I got, and I was really looking forward to them getting rid of him. Phil, I don't know whether it's intentional misdirection or there's just some weird things that happen in that episode where I'm like, this has got to be going somewhere later, right? The big one was where she's like, "Can I use your computer?" And he's like, "Yeah." Don't look at my email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? That's a
That's
question.
what I
you've
want to know.
asked.
Is he talking to another girl or is he looking up some sick shit?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he's talking to another girl.
Yeah.
But he is obsessed, and that's the other thing. He's obsessed with Rose.
But there's got to be something going on. Why else would you not want someone to read your emails?
Well,
I
you
mean,
know,
you can
just
all read my
privacy.
emails.
Yeah.
There's nothing in them.
Yeah.
I mean, MSN was around then. Why wasn't he using that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of out of character for the rest of the time, him being quite infatuated
Yeah,
with
yeah,
her.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. It is. It's funny because when I watched it, I hadn't seen Doctor Who since, well, besides the telly movie, I had been deprived of Doctor Who for a long
It's
time.
true.
Yeah.
I was going to forgive anything as long as it was good, you know, to a degree.
But
so
I would also argue that in some ways Mickey is supposed to be a bit of a dirtbag. Rose, at the end of the episode, needs to want to leave. And if she's in a fantastic relationship, she's not going to want to leave, is she? She's
and
like,
what
oh,
does she
well.
say? She says thanks, and he goes, for what? And she goes, thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
But then, as we know later on, she goes and flirts with everything in the galaxy. So,
Yeah.
Which brings us to the point, she has lunch with her boyfriend Mickey, who is showing off his dance moves.
It's a weird.
It's a weird scene. But
Well,
anyway, it's
but
just
what
a
are they?
split
They're
second
19.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, and there wasn't anything else to do in 2005 before social media really
Yes,
took off.
exactly. She's about to leave for the day when she's
yeah.
handed the lottering takings. Now, I'm assuming that's a store-wide lottery thing.
Places at your work have like a.
I've worked in a department store before. You don't really talk to anybody else in the building. You talk to, like, your department, maybe a couple of departments around you.
Well, maybe Wilson is one of their mates.
It's also odd that the security guard gave her the money.
I mean, they just needed her to stay, really. in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
They needed a
building.
reason. She's taking the money down to the basement for Wilson, the CEO of Henrik's. I'm assuming that symbol on the door means that that's Chief Electrical Officer
Yeah, no.
and not Chief Executive Officer.
Because they put him in the.
That's actually something I didn't notice. It's quite funny.
Because I saw the sign on the door, I said, CEO!
Yeah,
I
shit
just like
office.
working in the basement.
What a weirdo.
Wilson doesn't respond because he's probably dead, but strange noises cause Rose to investigate the basement of the department store.
Don't ever do that. Just leave, people.
It's her place of work. She sees mannequins moving towards her and thinks it's a joke. I love the contrast between the actual mannequins behind her as she's walking around and they've got very small heads. And then you look at the mannequins trying to attack her and they've got giant heads.
Yeah.
Presumably because there's a person in there with a mask over the top of their head.
But I really liked that they brought back the Nestine consciousness because the plastic people were in the old Who.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah, the mannequins going around shooting people and they would make copies of people who were high up. Look, it's done better in 2005 than it was in the 70s.
I'm sure.
I mean, the first new episode in almost 20 years, you kind of want to bring something back for the Whovians who recognise it, but also make it easy, because you don't want to try and explain Daleks in the very first episode.
No, and this episode was designed for people who'd never watched Doctor Who to be able to get in, and that's what I wondered from you, because you're not a Whovian. Is there stuff that you picked up, or did you still at the end go, I don't really understand what's going on here? Or
I finished that episode and I've gone, I watched it with Michelle. I was like, that was awful. Like, I hated it. And then she's like, there are better ones. And I'm like, I don't care.
No.
And then I thought about it coming over here and I'm like, well, no, actually, to be fair, no. And the whole find your doctor thing. It's like, no, I genuinely didn't like that. I found Christopher Eccleston quite uncharismatic and very awkward. But I know that Matt Smith is...
Yeah, if Matt Smith's your doctor, then Eccleston might not be...
I'll have to get you on a Matt Smith.
He's pretty grumpy. He's pretty grumpy.
Because that's what I was saying. Like, I know this is a Doctor Who podcast. I know there's a lot of Doctor Who fans. I am not one of them.
That's right.
And I'm going to shit on this episode, but I know it can be good. And I need to clarify that I know this can be good.
We're going to pick it apart too. We did invite you on here as a non-Whovian. I wasn't under the impression that you were a massive Whovian, and I've only just discovered now. What?
I didn't think so.
It's hard. I watched Rose the first time and loved it because I was just excited to have Doctor Who back. I watched Rose again this week as a reviewer or a critic. It's different.
And especially watching it almost 15 years after it was released. Parts of it do not date well.
Oh, my
Oh, my God. Just as the dummies are about to attack Rose, a strange man grabs her hand and tells her to run. I felt like when I was watching that, I felt like the first time you watched that episode, you probably started squealing.
I did. As soon as he grabbed her hand and went, run, I'm going, oh, my God. And then someone in the house would say something and I go, shush, because everyone has to be very quiet.
Everyone has to be quiet when it's Doctor Who time.
My daughter said she's afraid to move in the couch. As I go, you moving? She goes, son, come, stop it. Cramping, shut up.
They manage to escape to a lift where the doctor pulls off a dummy's arm. Rose still thinks it's all a joke and that the dummies are students. I have to say, it's a pretty elaborate joke to just play on one person.
Yeah, it is.
She's a little bit egomaniac if she thinks everyone's doing this for her.
Yeah. Do you know what I thought was interesting is that just theoretically, you could have bypassed that by showing Wilson dead. Like if you found Wilson's body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have to be violent. Be like, oh, this is real, and all the mannequins start coming, and then suddenly he doesn't have to explain it to this dumb little ape.
Well, it's a bit strange.
Just like the dumb apes.
I was going to say, I really appreciate just the general disdain for humanity. I like that.
There's a lot of parts of this episode that feel very like, oh, it's definitely a family show. It's very kiddie. It's aiming towards a lower audience. But then a man gets killed. Multiple people get murdered at the end.
The Doctor Conspiracy
The
Theory.
conspiracy
no.
guy. Yeah.
He gets shot. I forget
Poor
about
old
that.
Clive.
And I love that they cut back to him and he's just like, well, I'm going to die now. That is even more brutal than like, and then you continue to see his wife and kid running around screaming.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus Christ.
I like the way he goes, I was right.
To be fair, I've lived in London, and if I'd be like, oh, I'm going to die now. I guess I'm going to die. This place sucks.
Oh, wow. Shitting on Doctor Who and London.
Man, I think part of the reason I don't like Doctor Who, I think part of the reason that I have an issue getting on board with it is just how disgustingly English it is. Like, if I'm being very honest with myself, I think part of it's got to do with how the episodes look and how... Because the families... I'm very British, like family's Welsh and Scottish, so we're bred to hate the English. But I don't have that. But then I went over there and it's not a place I want to live at all. And then it all just...
Maybe you'd like Torchwood
bobulates.
better because it's set in Wales.
There you go.
There you
See?
go.
I think we're having the discussion on our way to a gig a little while ago because I also think that, like, there are beautiful parts of England. I think London, there's pockets in London, like, that I love, but I'm like, I was in just a really shitty headspace.
Yeah.
And I'm hating it. And I'm like, I got to go back there, and I got to go back there with money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With money, it's much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, and there are parts I like of London, but it's very busy. It's like way busier than Brisbane, that's for sure.
yeah.
Not that that's a surprise to anybody.
Busier than Brisbane?
No way.
Everywhere's busier than Brisbane.
Perth isn't.
Isn't it? But
No.
isn't that cashed up bogans, though?
Adelaide. Oh,
There's
an A cup
But
of a city.
nobody's in Adelaide.
that's true.
The strange man tells her that Wilson is probably dead and then that the creatures are living plastic, and he shows her a bomb that he plans to use to destroy the relay device on the roof that's controlling them. She pushes Rose out into an alley and says if she tells anyone about what they saw, they'll get killed. Very ominous.
It is.
He introduces himself as the doctor before saying, nice to meet meet you, Rose. Run for your life. Rose watches from across the street as Henrix explodes.
That editing in that particular...
The CGI? Yeah.
The editing, the CGI drives me nuts in that.
It's not a masterpiece.
No, it's not. It's not. I know it's the BBC have a limited budget. They're not the Marvel franchise, but yeah, it's bad.
But I was expecting that. Like, I was
Yeah.
expecting the explosion to not be fantastic. And
They could have made a model, though.
That's true.
It's in that point where CGI was starting to become mainstream. But then parts of the episode also feel very 90s. There's parts of the episode where I have to keep reminding myself, this was made in 2005.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, some of it's so old, particularly the aesthetic.
Every time I watch it, and she does not notice that Mickey is shiny and driving all over the road.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. He's shiny.
Let him email the other girl, because you're clearly not invested, all right? So
You don't even notice when he's a plastic
you got no
Ken doll.
idea.
Although I would argue that the plastic Mickey is a better character than the normal Mickey.
Yes.
I like plastic Mickey way better than normal Mickey.
Oh, yeah.
And Plastic Mickey likes pizza.
Pizza.
I like pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah, and when he keeps doing that, darling honey.
Yeah, well, that was weird.
She is not invested in him because she does not even notice that he's not listening or
Not a
not
thing.
speaking properly.
He's still learning how to speak because he's like, pizza, but then knows how to start a car without stalling it.
I was really disappointed because I thought what was going to happen was when she comes back out of the house. Oh, we can cover that when we get to it if you like, actually. Am I jumping forward?
No, we can.
No, we
can
just-
cover it
we
now.
jump
Yeah, just
all
jump
over.
Oh,
forward,
okay,
yeah.
cool. I was like, all right, so she's gone in, and in my head, I'm like, okay, she's going to go in. What if this guy is a creep? That's going to be great, but he's also Whovian or something, and she has to run out of the house, but she runs out of the house,
Yeah.
and he's either gone, so he's been eaten by the bin, and then he's in the car and he's a replacement. I'm like, awesome. I'm disappointed that she got out of the house okay. And I'm disappointed that that was fine, but, you know, that's necessary exposition. And then she comes out, she gets in the car, and then I was like, he's going to attack or he's going to do something and she's going to have to run, and then the bins are going to chase her. And he was just like, pizza. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. All right, fine. Go get pizza.
But he knows how to start the car without stalling it,
Yeah.
then weaves in and out, and presumably drives like that all the way to the restaurant. And she's like,
Yeah.
well, that's just Mickey's driving.
Which means that's how he drives all the time.
yeah.
Crazy Mickey.
My boyfriend, he's so absolutely nuts and shit at everything. That's just...
Why do I let him drive all the time?
They give him one of those kisses that has absolutely no on-screen chemistry.
But as we know, being able to say the word pizza also means that half an hour later you'll be able to talk perfectly, because then
Yes.
he's like, tell me about the doctor.
Yeah.
That was my first word when I was a baby.
Doctor?
Pizza.
Yeah, the doctor, yeah.
I was going to say, come out of the womb, but it's spelled W-H-O-M-B. You're immediately a
That's what I
Whovian.
said.
So you're poked out and you're like, nice to meet you, Mum. Run for your life.
Run for your life.
And she's like, what the fuck's going on down there?
The doctor's made of plastic.
He told me he was an actual doctor.
Oh, dear.
Rose rushes home, passing by a blue police box.
See, that, for me, that was great.
Yeah.
All I wanted was, I want to get in the TARDIS. I want to get in the TARDIS. Do not tease me
Yeah.
with the TARDIS.
I imagine for a Whovian, this would have been like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I was climbing the walls.
I did respect that moment. I respect that they didn't give you what you wanted.
I know.
I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, no, tease
I
it.
wanted it.
Tease on it.
Yeah.
Just the tip before it goes all the
Yeah.
way in.
And she didn't like stop and be like, what's with this blue police box here? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll keep walking past.
That really would have been very bad scripting.
Back at home, we meet Rose's mother, Jackie Tyler, who's gossiping on the phone with her friends, but still manages to get a dig in at Rose's expense.
What did you think of Jackie?
But she can go under a bus. There's a scene, I think when the doctor comes, when the doctor's fighting with the arm.
Yeah.
So the doctor walks in and she's like, who are you? And he's like, blah, 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 or whatever. And then, I'm in my dressing gown.
Yeah.
There's a stranger in my room. Anything could happen. Like, who is this horny mum?
Yes.
You don't know him, and Christopher Eccleston is not exactly a dreamboat either. And he's wearing a long leather jacket like a school shooter. Okay, you're just going to be like, yeah, get inside me. And then they go, the arm kicks off, and then she starts blow drying already dry hair.
No.
Like, what is going on with this woman?
I think at least you could have made her hair look a little damp.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to constantly have to keep re-wetting hair in a scene?
That's true.
My husband reckons nobody wears leisure wear as well as Jackie Tyler. That's all she ever wears.
Mickey tries to cheer Rose up by offering to take her out for a drink, but he really wants to watch the match on TV.
I know.
What a boyfriend.
I know.
What a catch, baby.
Yeah, I've had that boyfriend.
Yeah, that's she just went through a traumatic experience. That's a dog move.
Yeah.
But then he's also like, that's beside the point. I'm like, that's funny. But then he's like, oh, you might catch the last 5 minutes. I was like, well, you catch the last 5 minutes. Take her out of the pub anyway. But also, in saying that, your girlfriend's just been in, her work's blown up. She was there for it. Why don't you come over with beers?
Yeah.
Chill out. Something on the telly. Yeah, it's just a bad boyfriend.
The next morning, Rose wakes up, but she hasn't got a job to go to, as Jackie reminds her. Come to think of it, does Jackie have a job?
No. I think Jackie
Sells Tupperware.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Or Amway.
Or Avon.
Avon. Or Marie Claire. Not Marie Claire.
Why
What's that?
did all the mouths just go,
What's the cream thing?
Because we all knew an Avon mum.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, that checks out.
Mary Curie was radioactive.
Yes. I like to sell cakes of radioactive uranium.
I think like one of the biggest things that also made Jackie horrendously unlikable was her pushing for, but you can get compensation.
Yeah. You can get free money, love.
It's like, that is so English. Like, just yeah, you just please don't work. Like, sorry, let me phrase that. That's not fair. It's that weird sort of chavvy culture of being like, we'll just get compo.
I feel like it's sort of bogan as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's very
totally.
Australian bogan too.
Yeah.
Aren't we kind of known for getting compo?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Rose was in the vicinity of a building that blew up. So
Yeah.
it was like, you should get compo. From who?
Yeah.
The government? The store?
I know a guy at the Mirror that will pay you 500 quid.
I mean, that does make a bit more sense. Like
That does, yeah.
All she has to do is be like, yeah, I saw it explode. She doesn't have to tell him about the doctor.
Well, I'm sure if they wanted the information, they could have just tapped our phones. I mean, this was pre-2009.
Yeah.
Or whatever the News of the World thing was.
I'm sure someone other than her saw the doctor. He's not like sneaky.
Rose hears something at the door and finds the doctor snooping around.
He's looking for the arm, isn't he?
Yeah, he's followed the trail of the living plastic. As Rose makes him a cuppa, the doctor explores the flat, including looking at himself in the mirror, presumably for the first time.
That was such a payoff for the Whovians, because whenever the doctor changes,
Sam's got a confused look
Yeah.
on
Oh,
his face.
no, because I think I missed that bit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
he looks in the mirror and he goes, "Ooh, not bad. Look at the
Ears.
ears."
Yeah, look at the ears, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he reads the magazine and he goes, "That won't work. He's an alien and she's, I don't know, gay."
She's gay, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I missed it the first time I watched it too, but basically they establish in later seasons that essentially he's regenerated pretty much just before
Yeah.
this episode starts.
Okay, so that just not having that background, that didn't click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. But yeah,
I
cool.
think it was just chucked in for the Whovians like Nicchia. It wasn't for people who've never watched the show before.
Yeah, sure.
It was for people like me to go,
Yeah, it was a nice little gift.
Yeah.
An Easter egg, if you will.
it was beautiful.
The plastic arm launches itself from behind the couch to choke the doctor, which Rose again thinks is a joke.
I'm with her. What is it with men and plastic arms? You know, if you had a plastic arm, do you know if I had a room full of men, you'd all choke yourselves or you'd have it on your crotch. These are the two places that
Damn it,
men
she's got us figured out.
men will put plastic arms.
I had a real acting critique about that. Again, that's really funny. Oh, it's the second dude. Of
Yeah.
course
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe it. But there's no acknowledgement. There's not
Yeah.
even just a, anyway, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But there's just a, I'm just going to keep talking. And I
Yeah.
was like, you got to acknowledge it. You just give him the eyes.
He is mugging the hell out of it.
He is mugging.
Yeah.
He's like gurning, like, little bitch out.
I felt he was like that as well when he yanked the arm off.
Yes.
When he yanked the arm off. he was
Yeah.
like, oh, right, this is a audio medium. So
Yeah.
I was doing
Yeah.
a great act out, everyone.
Yeah.
He was. Sam had hold of my arm and he was
We're
pulling.
going
Yes,
to
yeah,
play
yeah.
charades
Oh
for
my
the rest of the episode.
The doctor uses a sonic screwdriver to sever the connection of the living plastic, and the facehugger arm is finally removed and dead.
Finally.
I love this shot where they follow them through the car parks and everything. It's one long continuous shot.
It was an extra shot. The episode was a bit short.
Oh, right.
So they shot that
That's interesting.
afterwards to have something else to add to it.
That does explain why it felt quite long. But I'm a big sucker for like a one big long shot of anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
Me too.
I'm like, I think that's so cool.
I've never really understood the explanation that the doctor gives about himself. He's the turning of the planet.
Yeah. Look.
He feels the turning of the planet, like that big monologue that he gives. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, wow, that sounds really amazing. And then you look at it afterwards and you're like, oh, this is gibberish.
It
Makes
is,
no
it
sense.
is gibberish, and I understand that he says something like that because they're setting him up.
Yeah.
They want to make him a bit mysterious for the new people, and also he's not talking about the Time War because it takes him ages to talk about where he's actually from in the
He does
series.
mention the war. Don't mention the war.
Mention it once.
The Time War's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, he's just come from the Time War.
Right,
Yes.
okay. The Nestine consciousness he couldn't save because they were feeding on planets.
Yeah, he couldn't save. There's a lot of people he couldn't
Yeah,
save.
there's a lot of planets that got destroyed during the Time War.
Yeah. So he actually wiped out his own people and the Daleks all in one foul swoop.
Right.
And he's the only one left.
I know that much. I know that he's
alright,
the only one of his
fantastic.
people.
But he killed them all.
I didn't know that. That's dark.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is a major plot point, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
okay,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool, cool,
Comes
cool.
out
All right,
later.
yeah.
They didn't stick it all in the first episode.
Sweet.
But
Because
if you want to come back every single week to watch every single episode,
I don't think Sam could do it.
in my head, no way. In my head,
Jesus, we're not forcing you, Sam.
no,
You don't
I'm
have to be if you don't fucking want
I'm
to.
being very honest with people I like a lot. So I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that. I like that I like you guys. I don't want to change that. No, but that to me, like, the show's always pitched to me as, oh, it's this dude who travels through time in
Yeah.
a box. Well, in my head, I'm like, oh, you've got this dude, but he's an alien and anyway, sorry, it's a tangent. My point is that he wiped out the Daleks and his own people at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And then, I don't know, that sets up this really cool military-esque backstory.
But he hates soldiers.
Right, okay, that's
But he had to
interesting.
be a soldier
Yeah, and
during
he hates
the Time War.
he hates war, and he's a pacifist.
The Doctor heads towards a blue police box, and Rose starts to head home before she hears a strange sound. She rushes back, but the police box is gone.
Does she really notice that the police box is gone?
Oh, I don't know, but we're supposed to notice that the
Yeah.
police box is gone.
No, I don't think she knows.
Rose goes around to Mickey's place to use his computer.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
He greets her at the door saying, "Here's my woman," and slaps her on the ass.
Oh, I know, the worst part. Here's my woman.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
like that's one of the parts that feels very like 90s. Like, oh, this will be okay. This will date well.
Yeah, it's like, man, there's not even a drop of irony in it.
No, it's just you forget that Mickey was supposed to be a one-off character.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
tell.
definitely.
They've
Oh,
really
definitely.
written him as a throwaway character. Bringing him back, they had to flesh him out a lot more.
Because nearly all of it could just be fixed with, like, good chemistry.
They've got
Yeah.
none.
None at
But
all.
then, if they had good chemistry, she would want to bring Mickey along on the TARDIS.
Oh,
and they're,
yeah. Oh,
they're trying to
absolutely.
establish
Yeah, yeah.
that.
But
no, she
some
just wants
chemistry.
to go. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Do you think she's got chemistry with the Doctor?
No, I didn't get chemistry between anyone, but I kind of understood why she went with him.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you got Mickey as this sort of dropkick, and she doesn't really have any prospects at the moment. And then he's like, "Do you want to travel through time and space?" It's like, yes.
Well,
course I
and what
would.
is she going to do? Go home and listen
Yeah.
to her mother hump people? in a
Exactly.
leisure
Well, I
suit?
think the Doctor and Rose do have chemistry, especially during that long shot where they're just joking around. I don't think they should be romantically involved, which they try to establish, like, essentially in this
Yeah,
first
too
episode.
early.
Yeah, because he's way older than her.
Well, in my head, I'm like, I don't think there's a lot of chemistry there, but there's such a void of it between her and Mickey
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
that it's like it's believable.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
like, yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Watching it again now, I don't know if she and Christopher Eccleston had the chemistry that she and David Tennant did.
So Billy Piper goes through with David Tennant as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that was chemistry.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Wait, that's where that... Okay, so
Yeah.
I was pretty sure that was the case because I think that's where I've heard of her from.
Christopher Eccleston only lasted one season.
And companions can go through multiple doctors. Just because a doctor's regenerating doesn't necessarily mean that the companion will be
Yes.
leaving as well.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I also remember I think I've seen the first episode of the Matt Smith. I've seen the first half of the first episode of the Matt Smith Doctor. Because the...
With Amy, the little girl.
Yeah, the little ginger girl.
I love that
So
episode.
because they started it with a new showrunner, whenever they start with a new showrunner, they kind of basically reset the whole show.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that's not Russell T Davies.
No,
No.
that's Stephen Moffat.
Oh, God, yeah, I know Moffat. Yeah, I know Moffat. We go way back.
Yeah.
You and Moffo.
Me and Moffo.
I love
Oh.
Moffy.
I just want to point out that Mickey has a CRT monitor instead of an LCD monitor, and that's one of the points where I had to remind myself this was recorded in 2005.
What, as a...
One of the big boxy monitors.
Oh,
You remember those?
oh, yeah, computer monitors. Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
90s monitor. Rose uses the search engine search-wise.net, which was a real website, not
Really?
anymore, but not a real search engine. It's a fake search engine set up by the company CompuHire, which sounds like a Simpsons thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
CompuGlobal.
CompuGlobal Hibernet.
Hibernet.
For companies that can't afford to use Google on their shows.
Oh,
So they
really?
make fake sites, yeah. Rose doesn't manage to find anything on the Doctor until she searches for Dr. Blue Box, which is A spin-off.
Which I really think you'd get some porn out of that.
Dr. Blue
Dr.
Balls.
Blue. Oh, I was going to say it's a spin-off.
Dr. Blue Balls would have been.
Oh
Dr.
my
Blue
god.
Oh, sorry.
Dr. Blue
That's
Balls.
getting
Now I'm disappointed that the porn parody version isn't called Dr. Blue Balls. It's just called Doctor Who XXX or something stupid like that. But I was thinking Dr. Blue Box was like a spin-off where the TARDIS solves crimes by itself.
It becomes sentient.
And it materializes around the murderer and like takes them to the police. Oh, guys, I am writing this.
Well, the TARDIS kind of is a character because the TARDIS turns into
It's a character.
lady at some point because it gets the essence of the TARDIS gets put into a woman, and the episode's called The Doctor's Wife, written by Neil Gaiman, and it is so good.
Yeah, it is very good.
I will trust any Neil Gaiman vehicle.
Oh, he's good.
Rose finds Clive's website, Doctor Who, which features a picture of a very badly photoshopped doctor.
Yeah, it's bad.
Aren't they terrible?
It's bad. That one's bad.
They look like I photoshopped them into the photo.
It looks even worse when he goes, here's the original. It's like, oh, that's even worse. It's even worse because he's looking directly at the camera.
Yeah.
It's
Not at JFK.
There's just absolutely nothing about it that even looks like anyone put an effort in, does it?
No, that in particular really takes the cake.
That's like they scotch taped it on.
Mind you, I do find when he's like, and this is him with it in Southampton, and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, classic, and this is a drawing. So it's just him and a palm tree. It's from 1836.
It's a rough sketch of a palm tree and then a perfect representation of him. Like, there's no doubt that it's him. Like, you look at sketches
Who drew it? Who drew it?
Yeah, that was weird.
And they were like, oh, it was drawn the night before Krakatoa exploded. Who told you that?
Yeah.
Speaking about Clive, Rose goes to visit Clive, and Clive's family think he's a bit crazy, with the son calling out, it's one of your nutters, and his wife's surprised that it's a woman.
Yeah.
So both have met Doctor Who fans then.
Yeah, I think he's making a little joke at Doctor Who fans that there's supposedly no women.
Clive takes Rose back to his conspiracy shed to show her various pictures of the Ninth Doctor, including the one from the assassination of JFK, and thankfully, Clive has 3 copies of it where it gets progressively bigger, so there's a big dramatic reveal.
Oh, I know.
I prepared these earlier in case someone asked. Ta-da!
He's nuts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Clive says the Doctor has one constant companion. Death.
I hated that.
emo.
I hated that the first time I saw it. I hated it every time I ever watch it. The
Truth
Doctor
hurts, doesn't it?
is not death.
But Clive thinks he is because...
Clive's a dickhead.
Okay, all right.
They try to make the audience think that he's dangerous, and he's not.
Well, see, I like that, but again, it feels entirely unexplored.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
I think it's a cool idea to be like, I have this disdain for the human race, you guys annoy me, and then people are like, this guy brings death and destruction. But then that's not him at all.
No.
But then it's like this thing where I was like, oh, well, I didn't feel that was even believable to say.
It would have been great if Clive had survived and they could have explored that better. Like, he comes back and he's like, oh, the Doctor is the bad guy. And it's like, no, the Doctor's not the bad guy.
I think that there was something in it, but there was a lot of that dark stuff going through, particularly in Russell T Davies thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the Doctor being dangerous, and he turns people into soldiers.
Back in the car, Mickey is sitting there with nothing to do because this is 2 years before the release of the first Apple iPhone.
Hey.
You know, you think about it now. Everywhere I go, everyone's looking at their phone. Doesn't matter what's happening. And I think to myself, like Miss Beck Tech
Like
here.
Beck just right here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we boring you?
No, I got an interesting message from Tara. I'm replying to her. I'm doing something important.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Tara.
Hello,
Hope it's
Tara.
good.
Is Tara a regular listener?
Yes.
Yeah, Tara's she loves my Bjork impression.
She said that in this message.
So everyone's on their phone. You know, I'm 135 or whatever I am.
Don't look a day over 134.
I know. Thank you very much.
I thought you were 140.
Oh, that's insulting.
Did I
to a
insult you?
Time Lord,
You
that's
did.
So
insulting.
sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't realize. I thought because you travel dimensions in time and space
Yeah.
for the podcast that it was
Next, you're going to tell her she's on her
inconsequential.
third regeneration and not her second. Oh, my God, Sam. Oh, my God.
And I suppose you think I look fat in this as well, don't you? Don't you?
To be fair, you
all-
did get it from an op shop thrift store.
It is a moo-moo, but I don't care.
Please do not put Adam's words in my mouth. That's just joking. My job's to come on the podcast and cause a major rift between you.
Yeah. I will fucking shove my words down your throat. That's the last thing I do.
Oh, that does not sound
that's a
PG.
Meatloaf
That's
song.
the point. That was the joke.
I'll shove my words.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, must have been when I was kissing me.
It's interesting to watch this.
Yeah.
And if it had been remade now, he'd be on his phone. Everyone would be on their phone. It's like people sitting there doing nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking they should be doing something. What should they be on their phone?
Well, it's like making a horror film. Like modern horror films, you have to have a reason why they can't just pull out their phone and be like, I'm going to call the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
is
it's
true.
usually
yeah.
like, oh, we're on a retreat where there's no cell tower or something.
Phones have made writing a lot harder. It's like, I'm so lost. How? How are you lost in the woods?
Although, to be fair, when people just constantly ask you stuff and you're like, gee, I wish there was some way for you to Google that.
Yeah.
That is a fair representation of people.
Yeah, true.
Just Google it, mate.
Mickey investigates a rowdy bin, but it's empty. So why did the guy put it out?
Maybe it had already been emptied.
Oh, okay, rightio.
So it was after
Wait.
the empty guy had been passed.
Didn't we see the guy put it out?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
And
we
they give
saw
each other
him
a
put it
weird
out,
look.
which to me had an undertone of racial tension
Same.
to it.
It was
Yeah,
like
okay,
the
cool,
guy was
cool,
looking
cool.
at him being like, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, what are you doing in my white neighborhood?
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just looking at it being like, a yellow bug. Okay, well, you do you then.
The first time I watched it, I thought the bin stuff was quite funny.
Okay, all right.
Oh, come on. I had not
I-
seen Doctor Who since 1980.
Okay, all right.
I found it ridiculous but amusing.
Yes, yeah, I'll give you that, yeah.
But when she came back and he was shiny plastic and she didn't notice,
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
annoyed the crap out of me.
Although I did notice that the second he touches the bin, he is obviously on a green screen studio.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
even on location anymore.
I forgave that though because
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a time thing. Whereas like,
Oh, yeah,
all right,
yeah.
That's hard acting.
But I don't have anything to do with the
Yeah.
acting, but the CGI of his fingers and stuff, that's terrible. Find a better way to do that, I'd say.
It was their first episode. They were finding their feet.
Yeah.
I gave it to them. Bin swallows Mickey and lets out a huge burp.
I hated that.
Hilarious. Clive thinks that the Doctor is the same person, an immortal alien from another world. Now, Clive seems like a throwaway joke character, but he's actually got quite a bit of backstory in the Doctor Who universe. His dad was killed by a Dalek.
How do you know all this?
It was on the website.
Ah.
No, apparently that's in the novelisation to this episode, which Russell T Davies wrote in 2018.
Oh, what?
They novelised the episodes, but they only started like recently.
Right. So you
So he
can buy
changes
them
a
as
few
novels.
things. Yeah.
I used to buy them as novels when I was a kid.
Oh, so they did that for the old ones as well.
Yeah, because they had a bit more in it. So if there was something and you went, I don't really understand what that was, it would kind of, so the book would give you a bit more.
So that incident that happens in remembrance of the Dalek, Russell T Davies wrote it so that Clive's dad was apparently part of that.
Ah.
And so that when they covered that up, that got him interested in conspiracy theories. Also, a 14-year-old Clive met the 12th Doctor, who he followed back to the TARDIS.
Oh, really?
12th Doctor takes him on an adventure, causing them to stop the meddling monk before the Doctor returns Clive to his time, mentally blurring his memories so he can't remember.
Oh, my God.
Yikes.
God.
I suppose they probably felt bad because they killed him in this episode.
The book feels like it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's actually made that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when he meets the 12th Doctor, that's a short story in another book.
Oh,
but
okay,
The
sure.
novelisation of Rose does have a lot more information. Basically, Mickey has 3 housemates who all form a band called Bad Wolf.
Right.
One of the members of the band is a transgender woman. The other 2 are 2 gay men who are attracted to each other. I don't
As
know.
gay men are.
Yeah, yes.
Well, that's handy for them, I suppose. It's like if you put a man and woman in a room, they'll fall in love.
Yeah, totally. Mickey, now we have to Mickey and Rose at the restaurant. We've already discussed that briefly. As they're talking, a bottle of champagne is brought over, but it turns out it's the Doctor. He shoots the cork out of the bottle at Plastic Mickey, who absorbs it and spits it out.
And finally, Rose goes, whoo.
Something's
Mickey
a bit wrong
looks
there,
bit
yeah.
He doesn't normally absorb corks and spit them out, does
And he pulls his head off.
Then his hands turn into giant screwdriver.
Very Terminator-esque. I
Yes,
gotta be
yeah.
honest, I quite like that. I like that they made him weaponize
Yeah.
himself. But I thought that pizza restaurant looked like a porn set.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
I
real
forgot that it
tacky.
was supposed to be a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
It
'cause
looks like
I
a...
didn't think it was pizza.
No, yeah. I thought they would have been in a bar or something.
It was just weird, and the lights there was way too many lamps
Yeah.
to the point where it all looked like stripper poles. I was really weirded out by the whole setting.
I just thought it didn't look like a place that those two would go anytime. I don't know, sterile.
It just looked weird.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
always
it just
didn't
looked
look like a
odd.
restaurant. It looked like the sort of restaurant where looking in, you could tell that nobody else was talking. It was just the two of them talking.
Yeah.
There's so many sort of like mid-range pizza chains in the UK. It's like surely you could just go to one and we'll base it off that instead of this weird one where you add pizza, but it's a strip joint.
It looked like it
but-
was trying to be like a fancy,
Yeah,
like strip
that's what I
joints
thought.
try and make themselves look fancy.
She has the presence of mind to hit the fire alarm, get everyone out.
little nugget of the ability of a future companion. Maybe she is worthwhile.
You never know, there's more to her than that.
That's true.
Behind the restaurant, the plastic creature is trying to beat down the door.
Oh, God, I loved this
Rose
scene.
finds a locked door and urges the doctor to use his device to open it so it can escape. But the doctor invites Rose into his big blue police box.
Where did she go? Use the tube thingy.
Yeah, use the tube thingy. It's a sonic screwdriver, love. And then she, all right, fine, I'll get in the box with you. And then she runs in. What the fuck? Runs out, runs around. I love the shot where we follow her in and we're like, da-da.
Yep.
That was fun. I like how she came in and left, and then she came in. You get the big reveal. I did like that.
Yeah, I thought that was so beautifully done. All I wanted from the moment it started was to look inside the TARDIS. I really couldn't give a shit about anything but what's inside the TARDIS.
She is allergic to closing a fucking door.
Oh, yeah.
She walks into Clive. She didn't close the door. She didn't close the TARDIS door. It might be a self-closing door. Pretty sure Mickey had to close the door when she went over to hers.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she's never going to learn because the TARDIS closes its own door.
Oh, there we go.
She does close the door in the TARDIS when they move.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the only time she did it.
I just didn't like how then after all that she was getting shitty that the cat flap wasn't shut.
Like, she gets upset about Mickey. She talks about his mother, who we find out later his mother's dead. He was raised by his nan. It's very interesting.
Shit.
So I
didn't remember that.
There's a continuity problem.
Right.
That's why he was only supposed to be in it for one episode, and then they brought him back.
And she gets angry at the doctor for getting Mickey. Well, she's
Yeah.
forgotten that his mum's
I
dead.
don't know. She's a bit lippy with him. And then I hate the scene Ferris wheel.
You
With the
actually
London
hate
Eye.
something. Yay.
I do, the London Eye. I hate that because it's too long. There's too many of the, and then shooting back to him, and then her looking
quite
at it,
like that.
and then shooting back to him, and then her. There was one too many.
I think you need one of them.
Every couple of episodes, there'll be a little moment where she's a bit smarter than the doctor.
Don't start me on Martha here.
Yeah, let's not start on Martha.
There's a thing as well. This got under my skin. And I viewed this very critically as well, because I know that was the point. When he gets out of the TARDIS, see, this happens twice, but it's most prominently in this scene. You always have to have motivated movement. And in that scene, on two separate occasions, he sort of just stands and crosses his arms. It's just like, oh, why are you just grumpy there?
Yeah.
It just seemed unbelievable for him to just be, oh, I'm kind of in a huff, but not really. I'm not upset anymore that I lost the transmission. I also don't want to go back into the TARDIS for some reason.
Yeah,
It was just, you're just standing
I'm with
around.
you. It just that scene is uncomfortable and awkward. I can't work out what the point of it is.
It just seems weird that if he's pissed off, he runs out and he's like, I've lost the transmission. He doesn't let his like anger just like naturally kind of dissipate, or it doesn't drive him to walk around the other side of the shed to where the London Eye is. It sort of just stops.
But I would argue that's part of the script of like, okay, we need Rose to get out of the TARDIS so that she knows that it's in a different place. So,
Oh, no, that bit absolutely.
But you're right. He just sort of stands there.
Yeah.
He looks like he doesn't know what to do.
It's probably been told you need to wait there until she comes out of the TARDIS.
I think it's awkward.
No, this is after she's out of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So they-
when he's talking about the London Eye.
The chunk when they're on either side of what looks like a boat shed or something.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're on one side and then they get to the other side that reveals the London Eye. He sort of just folds his arms.
Yeah,
and
they're
right.
leaning on the TARDIS, aren't
Yeah.
they? Aren't they hanging
he's
around?
he's just off the TARDIS.
Yeah.
The whole scene was shot.
That whole
really-
scene didn't work for me.
really badly, no,
I
me
didn't
neither.
like it.
How come he sounds northern if he's an alien? Well, lots of planets have a north.
I did like that.
I think that's a really nice dismissive. This doesn't matter.
The Nestine consciousness is on Earth to consume the materials that make plastics. It literally wants to eat Earth. Thankfully, the Doctor has some anti-plastic to stop it.
I love Rose's comment. The breast implants.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Would
I
your
missed
breast
that.
implants turn on
That's
you?
funny.
Aren't they made from silicon?
Oh, I don't.
That's a type of plastic.
Oh, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Cut that.
You cut when I make fun of God, and you cut when I make a mistake.
No, don't cut that. I'll take a bullet as an idiot. I do it every week. They find the living plastic creature in a vat, and the doctor wants to give it a chance to leave us before he uses his anti-plastic.
Can I say real quick, this bit where he's like, I want to speak with you under convention, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just sort of like, okay, cool, there's something bigger going on.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of gobbledygook there that we'll come back to later.
But I do like that because it's
technobabble that they can set up
She
for other
hates me
things.
for saying I like it.
I like it.
I like that. I love that. But anyway.
I'm just a lover of everything.
But anyway.
Right. Words to never say on a podcast.
Never be positive.
You never be positive.
I hated that.
Rose helps the living, stinking Mickey, and the doctor says they probably kept him alive to keep the connection up.
And then she's cross with him.
And he's also not tied up or anything. He's just there.
Yeah.
Cowering like some sort of loon.
But she's angry that the doctor knew he was probably still alive, but didn't tell her. Because she's like, he's dead. And he's like, all right, well, let's keep going.
Hasn't the doctor got bigger things to go than Rose?
Well, that's what his argument is. I've got bigger things to worry about than your dumb Mickey.
Yeah.
And the audience is like, yeah, who cares about Mickey?
Exactly.
Also, I thought it would have been cool if Mickey had died. Maybe not even in the bin, but had died in this scene. I don't know, like the fallen or something. It's like this thing where then there was genuinely nothing for her to stay for.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Mum's weird. I don't have a job. My boyfriend's dead. I have nothing. He's like, you want to come through time and space? It's like, well, yeah, seems very believable. Seems more believable than thanks for everything.
Yeah, thanks for what?
Yeah, thanks for what?
Absolutely.
That would have been really interesting, really dark, because spoilers for the rest of the season. In a later episode, she comes back, thinks that it's only been half an hour, but it's actually been a year. And so everyone thinks Mickey's, like, killed her, basically.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they're both gone for a year, she comes back, and they're like, oh my God, where's Mickey? And she's like, oh yeah, he's actually dead.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been brutal.
That would have been brutal. But I like the fact that everyone thinks Mickey killed her. And she says, have you been seeing anyone? And he goes, well, no one as good as you. And of course, everyone thinks I killed you.
You actually really put me in the shit here, Rose.
Yeah. The doctor tries to reason with the Nestine consciousness, but two Autons capture him and find the anti-plastic.
Yeah, the doctor's a bit useless here, isn't he?
They also have the TARDIS, which the Doctor identifies as his ship. Considering the Doctor's presence and attack, the Nestine consciousness activates all the plastic in the world. Well, I say that, all the plastic dummies at least. No one's phones, which were all made of plastic at this point. Caught up in the attack are Jackie Tyler and Clive Finch and his family. Apparently, Clive Finch has two sons, but apparently they couldn't afford for another. So he's only just got one son in the scene.
Oh, really?
Right.
Well, I'm assuming. In the novelization, it says he's got two sons. Rose says, oh, he's got a wife and kids.
Ah, yeah,
So,
but we only ever see the
We
one.
only ever see the one dude.
Well, that's true. I do like watching Jackie run around getting,
Naked.
shot at.
Getting naked.
Getting naked as she does. No, getting harassed and shot at. The lady who plays Jackie Tyler, and I can't think of her name now, but she does justice to that character. She's so believable and so annoying. She does it so well.
Fearing the end of the world and seeing that the Doctor can't do anything, Rose uses a chain to swing down and kick the Auton holding the antiplastic into the Nestine consciousness, destroying it.
While reminding us all the information about her character.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no job, I have no this, but I got bronze in gymnastics.
I know. I was waiting for a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah.
Here's what my character's like.
When I heard that initially, I was like, that is shitty exposition as to why she can swing on the chain. This show is kind of weird because I don't know whether it's bad directing or it's just bad delivery or it's just intentionally like that, where she's like, I've never won anything, but maybe I can do something here.
Hard to say because the show has evolved a lot since the first series. So going back to watch it, even the moments that I loved are a bit more cringeworthy now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if it was made in the 70s, first of all it'd be 12 hours long. And then everything would look like even worse.
And they'd get kidnapped and get away.
Kidnapped, get away.
Right.
Kidnapped, get away.
Because in the 70s, the original Doctor Who was 4 or 5 half-hour episodes. They had to pad them out. And they were writing them as they were being filmed. They had no money.
Okay, yeah.
So they were all pretty much trying to write them the week before, sometimes writing them on while they were being filmed. But they had to pad them out. So Adams finally watched a classic.
Oh, man.
And there's a lot of padding.
Yeah. And a story that could probably make a really good hour-and-a-half movie goes for like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Really dragging it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone has to end with a mini cliffhanger.
Oh, that annoys the shit out of me.
But they're just shit cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Like Batman style?
Yeah, sort of like I'm going to fall. And then when you come back, I just trip. You know?
Right, okay, sure, yeah.
Like, oh God, she's going to die because she fell. And then it's like, oh, I just landed on this platform here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
okay.
sure. Like classic. Is he going to drink the poison mug? Is the mug poison? Find out next week.
Yeah,
And then he's just
yeah.
about to. He's like, actually, I'm not thirsty.
Yeah. Oh, why am I drinking? I have terrible bladder problems.
As the facility begins to explode, the Doctor grabs Rose and they and Mickey jump into the TARDIS. Finally safe, Mickey is in shock. The Doctor offers Rose the chance to travel with him, but she refuses, stating that she has to look after Mickey.
Well, I think she thinks about it, and then Mickey does that kind of pathetic.
Yeah. Let me say, not a great reason to turn down the Doctor. It's not even a great reason to be in a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
I've got to look after Mickey.
I've got to look after this. What did you say? Like big
This
lump?
lump.
It's
Yeah.
not as if he's a full-grown adult male or anything.
Yeah.
I've got to look after him.
The Doctor heads off but returns, telling Rose the TARDIS is also a time machine. Finally convinced, Rose rushes into the open doors of the TARDIS to begin her and our adventures with the Doctor for the 21st century. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh my
dun,
god, my
dun,
ear's
dun.
bleeding. Stop.
And that's it for another episode.
That it was an interesting one to go through because I have loved it for so long, and to sit down and watch it as a reviewer, having so much of the new stuff, it was like, it's a bit disappointing, really.
So, as we always do, we like to score the episode from 1 to 5, obviously 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Are there any other final comments you want to make about the episode before we...
Not really. I got a lot off my chest. I think there's a reason maybe he only had one season. Is I think Christopher Eccleston he's not unlikable, but he doesn't have the charm. And I think maybe that's got something to do with why Tennant is so big, as so favoured, because Tennant is, just as an actor, is exceptionally like watchable and engaging and charming. And I think, because I got pitched Doctor Who, but the episode I got pitched was one of the Matt Smith ones. I was like, okay, I'm kind of on board.
Yeah.
But I think if you were trying to sell someone Doctor Who and you showed them that, they'd never speak to you again.
The Eccleston series gives it legitimacy because Eccleston was kind of a known actor in the UK.
Dramatic actor.
A legitimate dramatic
Okay,
actor.
right, yeah.
He did indie movies and he worked with the BBC and that sort of thing. And then that got people like, well, you could have just had David Tennant from the start because he was already a Doctor Who fan. But then you could attract other actors to the role of like, oh, it's not this big campy show anymore.
Yeah. So the thing in the 70s, particularly at the end, is that it was poor acting, blah, blah. And then I'm not saying it was by the main characters, but they weren't getting the best, extras. And as we know, their deaths in Genesis of the Daleks, they're hilarious. I mean, I've never seen so many people die in such, and each, as it went on, they got worse and worse.
Oh, really?
Like a melodrama did.
Yeah.
And I think, it got worse and worse, but they really were trying to get rid of that stigma. They've still got a limited budget. And
Oh, yeah. The BBC is
and
like,
the
we want to
BBC
bring the
could
show
cancel
back,
it
but we don't want
tomorrow.
to spend a ton of money. Get the highest profile actor you can for the lowest cost available,
Once David Tennant came on, I went, that's the Doctor. And then Matt Smith came along and I went, David Who?
So I'm getting the idea that this episode didn't want to make you watch more of, at least this season.
Not at all.
No, okay.
Not at all.
Wow.
Like aggressively so. Where I was like, man, this is.
I wonder how many people there are that were like, I suppose I better check out this Doctor Who thing, saw this episode and were the same as you, were like, wow, fuck this, I'm never going to watch this ever again.
Judging by the fan base, the amount of people that I know that do love it and love it like a football team.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly not enough. It's clearly just. Well, but I didn't watch it in 2005. I was 12.
Oh my God, you're such a baby.
I was just a little baby, Nicchia. And I think if I'd watched it then, because that was, what was I when I was 11, 12? Okay, yeah. That was when I was at the
You
peak
would've
of
loved
my...
it.
Yeah, I was at the peak of my Star Wars Lord of the Rings phase.
Yeah.
All the Lord of the Rings stuff has come straight back recently for some reason. Turning straight back into a nerd. Like a big Lord of the Rings
Because they
nerd.
kind of churn more money out of it. The same way Harry Potter's come back, because they're like, well, we can flog this cash cow a bit longer.
Yeah, just keep going. Mind you, all the new Harry Potter movies are terrible. For me, I don't like them.
They're basically J.K. Rowling was forced to write them at gunpoint, essentially. They said, we're going to make these movies with or without you. And she's like, okay, fine, I guess I'll write them then.
I guess I'll...
Yeah, but
And they're like, set them in America. And she's like, well, of course. I guess sure, That's the next place I was going to go with the series, obviously.
We're putting Johnny Depp in it. Okay, all right, fine.
I'll defend him. I'll defend him on Twitter.
will.
It's all right.
I don't know if she's that much of a take a back seat to her own career, JK. She sort of stands up for herself. Quite liked Fantastical Beasts, but I love
I haven't
Eddie.
seen him.
Redmayne.
Oh, Red
Red
Man.
Redmayne. He could be the Doctor.
He could be, actually.
Yeah.
Even in my limited knowledge, I'm like, I can see that.
So what would you give this episode out of 5?
Oh, man, this is getting a 1.5.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what it's a half
Oh,
for?
no, actually, you know what? No. Benefit of the doubt. I'll give it a 2. And I give it a 2 because you're right about Jackie. That is a very fun character and how annoying and horrible
She's well done.
she is. I found some pockets of it so bad that I was like, this is so terrible. Oh, also, I'll be honest with you. When she's in the basement and the mannequin moves, I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, really?
I was like, that's cool. And then they're walking, I was like, all right, there's an element of fear here. And they also get marked up for the solution being anti-plastic. Where I'm like, this is so tacky. I love it. Yeah, I got fixed with this vial of anti-plastic, and then the mannequin is just standing there. He's not taking
just
it
holding
anywhere.
it.
Yeah.
He's just standing there, and it's like...
Wouldn't you get it as far away from you as possible?
Yes. Yeah, or just leave immediately, but he doesn't even move while the other dude's wrestling.
Like, if you had a highly poisonous gas, you wouldn't just stand there and be like, I'm just going to hold this thing over here.
Very Batfink, isn't it?
It is very bad.
Yeah, that's what I think. Batfink always had those sort of things.
Nicchia?
I liked it because it was the first one in a long time, so I was pretty much starving to death. But also, I thought they had a serious doctor. I could see it working. There were plenty of things that were wrong with it. So I'm giving it a 4.
Okay.
All right, okay.
All right. And do you like it better than the Battle of Ranskorav Kolos?
Yes, I do.
Sam's just like, oh, wow.
It's all right. I'm just...
An episode where there's a battle, eh? Love that.
I think if you ever want one that is actually a bit scary, watch Blink.
Is that the name of the episode?
Yeah.
Yep.
What season?
David Tennant.
Maybe we should get MJ and Sam to watch Blink. And I'm going to give it a 4 too. Usually with episodes, when I come in, because I write the episodes, I have a good idea of where I'm going to put it on the list. With this one, I wasn't sure. There are parts that I don't like and haven't dated well, but as a Whovian, there's a lot that I do like about it, and it is a setup of a new Doctor, and there are a lot of things that I don't like about Eccleston's Doctor, but in this episode, it's not as prominent as they are in future episodes.
Oh, dear.
But he's not as grumpy as Capaldi's Doctor.
No, but he does try to kill a Dalek.
Capaldi's a generally nice person in real life.
Oh, yeah. Well, it
Not
is.
saying that Chris
true,
doesn't
yeah.
have nice
Maybe that's
tendencies, but he's a
by the
grumpy
fact
man
that
in real
Eccleston
life.
is also a grump in real life.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
And has refused to ever come back to anything Doctor Who related ever again.
Oh, really?
Ever.
He threatened to sue the BBC.
Why?
Oh, because
He said he was very unhappy and the character didn't develop the way he wanted it to, and he was...
Well, the BBC released a thing saying that he was leaving the series because he was tired. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving because of that. I'm leaving because of all these other reasons. And also, I don't want people to think that I'm a tired actor. And so he threatened to sue the BBC. And
Okay, that's a little different.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
them to be like, okay, so you might have somewhat of a slightly defamation case going on there.
Yeah.
But also,
then he
don't be a little bitch.
The only other times he's pretended to be a doctor is when people have asked him to do, wedding videos.
Right.
And he's really sweet
Yeah, he's
about
super
that.
sweet about it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
This man sounds complex.
He is a complex character.
I think he's very complex, and I like him.
I was looking at his face before.
Just staring
It's
at
a
it.
complex face.
Well, it's sexy ugly, isn't it?
That is exactly
Sexy
how I would
ugly.
describe it. No, I think that is bang on because I was looking at...
I love in Dalek where they take his shirt off to torture him.
Oh, he's so thin, he didn't do any push-ups.
And he looks like he just needs a feed.
Because when he's younger, he's a weird looking dude, but as he kind of gets older, does have a little bit of a daddy energy about him.
I know,
I think
he's growing
like
into
Silver
his...
Fox.
He's
Yeah,
growing,
yeah.
growing
Yeah.
into his face or something.
Yeah, he's got the salt and pepper vibe to it. Yeah. See, before he looked like just a weird little British nerd. I mean, look at that. That's
Oh,
that's
now-
a good looking older
Now,
man.
That is.
oh yeah, definitely. Now he's a good-looking man.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God. Yeah, that is
Do you
good.
need a moment, Nicchia?
Well, he looks so... He always
We know
looks,
you, dude,
He
Adam.
always looks handsome when he smiles. But sexy ugly is pretty much... Now, don't ever tell my husband this, but that's kind of the look I go for.
Oh, poor
Did you hear that, Dave? Did you hear that?
It's sexy and it's just unusual. I shouldn't call it sexy ugly. Sexy unusual.
You know how you can be attracted to someone because they're generically good looking. Like you're good looking like everyone else. But then there's people with unusual
Yeah,
faces.
interesting
That you're
faces,
really
yeah.
attracted
Yeah,
to.
you're like, what's going
Yeah.
on now? That's
Yeah.
really attractive because I can't quite process it.
There are a whole lot of people that look exactly the same. I'm a woman with blonde hair, but there's a lot of women in Hollywood with blonde hair who all look, I can't tell them apart.
Yeah, I'm a dude with glasses and a red beard.
Yeah.
There's thousands of me at the cafe down the road. Like there's I know what you mean.
But the last couple of minutes were very emotional. Rose jumping into the TARDIS
Yep.
because, I know Nicchia and I would definitely have done that, 100%. We would have done it the first time, being like, fuck Mickey, let's go.
Yeah, I would have pushed him into the bins and just run.
So I feel like that tempers some of the parts that I don't like about it. So yeah, I'm giving it a 4.
No, I'm there. So, Sam, now this one's might be a bit difficult for you, but all of our guests, when they come on, we ask them what their Time Lord name would be. We all moved to Gallifrey. You need a Time Lord name. What would you pick?
But what does Sam want to be?
Well, see, I'm still on the...
Oh, you can have thinking time. Hang on. Tick, 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 tick,
Well,
tick,
see,
tick, tick, tick.
because, okay, well, part of me is like, kind of like Doctor Who, and the more of the backstory you guys tell me, I'm like, all right, okay, this has levels. I like this. But also, part of me is like campy trash. I'm like, my name could be The Taint. Because I'm in between being an absolute asshole and being like, yeah, okay, all right, this has balls. Okay.
You're the taint.
Taint. All right, let us go with the taint.
Because in my head, the other one was The Professor, but that's only because I like how that sounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right.
This is The Professor, and I
you
would
could be Professor Taint.
I could be Professor, the Professor Taint.
my
The
God.
Tainted Professor.
You
That sounds like an episode.
There you go, the Tainted Professor.
I'm the
Do you want
Tainted
to be?
can't be the
Professor.
professor. He was on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
What are you going to land
No,
on?
I like the taint. What's wrong with the taint?
A lot of things.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, yes.
I'm
You
the
can
Taint.
be. You want to be the Taint?
No.
Okay, no, you know what? The Conquistador.
The
Conquistador.
Conquistador.
I like how it sounds. And when you said the Inquisitor, I thought Spanish Inquisition is a time machine. That, I know, I'd want to wear one of those hats that the Spanish...
Oh, well, you fit in with the Gallifreyans because they wear a lot
Yeah.
of ridiculous hats.
Cool, and the Conquistador, I like how that sounds.
Okay.
And
all
so
right.
when you turn up places, are you there to take over?
I want chocolate.
Relatable.
I will get there, I want chocolate.
Pretty
and-
much he'll do anything for chocolate.
It's Roman times. There is no chocolate.
Oh, okay, well then...
Wait in the TARDIS, we'll let you know.
yeah. Every time you go further and further back, you create chocolate. Yeah,
I just bring chocolate to
you
the
come back
masses.
and you're like, chocolate was invented in 16 BC,
It's like the
150
banana.
BC, 200 BC, 3000 BC. The dinosaurs invented chocolate.
I just see Sam getting out of the TARDIS with like Cadbury family block, just chunking
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Just eating a box of lint.
Who's that? The Conquistador.
Hola, how you doing? Como esta?
Leaving
Put 'em
trash
address.
all over the place.
Yeah. And also, I have not been able to get past broken Spanish as much Spanish as I can speak since I lived there.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
like constantly saying, hola, hombre, but not because I can speak it, but just because it's in my lexicon now. Like the other day, I went to the Bodlo. I was just like, hola. And she goes, hola, como esta? And I'm like, oh, bueno, usted? And she just starts going on. And I'm like, no, that was a nice little tag that we did, but
Yeah.
that is nada.
Nada.
No más español.
We did a bit of crowd work, but now it's
Yeah,
time
yeah.
for me to go back into my jokes.
Now I'm going back to my own jokes.
I did some crowd work and there's no more.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
got too
more.
enthusiastic for it as a crowd.
Yeah, sorry. You can actually speak Spanish. I'm just some gringo.
Every time you leave a planet, they'll go, I don't know what he did, but fuck, his Spanish was terrible.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Something's just different. I don't know. It's like
It's not like I could work out where he fitted
No.
in anywhere.
Just
but he-
eating chocolate
he
all the
ate a lot
time.
of chocolate and he tried the Spanish.
also, why has our population gone down by like a fifth? Do you guys know?
Yeah, he
There's
didn't
nowhere
defeat
so
the
many-
enemy either. We're still being attacked by Daleks.
Yeah, where's all our fertile women?
And there's 5 dead hookers out the back. I don't know what's going on here.
So that's where all the fertile women went.
Conquistador and El Mofato.
Oh, I like the name of this show.
I do.
They solve crimes that they cause.
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah.
it was that guy. And we're like, no, I'm pretty sure it was the two of you. No, it was that guy.
That's the big reveal at the end. All of the murders, and they were all us.
It's just you walk
love
away
it.
going, oh, I think we got away with that one.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show, Sam.
Oh, thanks
It's been
for
an
having me,
absolute
guys.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Doctor Who. And I know it's not in your...
It's all right. I was like, oh no, I definitely better have to watch this. I'll bite the bullet.
I'm glad Michelle watched it with you. So you had
Yes.
a nice calming voice to tell you to calm down.
It gets better. It
Yes.
gets better.
It worked out really well, actually, because I'd planned to watch it last week, but then my nan had to do a classic nan thing and die.
Oh, no.
So
Oh, Jesus.
Unlike the Doctor, who can regenerate.
Yes.
Nans
I
don't.
didn't have any time for it. And then last night, I was like, okay, I've got an hour and a half, let's do it. Turned on iView. It's not on iView anymore.
What?
So then I watched it like this morning. I got up early. I'm like, all right, watch it this morning. So I was glad I did because it was fresh in there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to watch it, otherwise it's kind of hard to comment on the episode.
Yeah, thank you for watching the episode we sent you.
I really should not have gone on the Hemingway podcast without reading something of Hemingway, I found. So
Wait, is that a thing that happened?
No.
Oh, I was going to be like, you can't. It's hard to bluff your way through The Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
So he's old.
It's
and-
actually hard to just read The Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
Now, was the sea old or is it the man? I can't never remember that.
The language is old.
Was he on a boat or was he swimming the whole time?
Is there anything you'd like to plug, Sam?
Yeah, I'm doing that all as part of my hour. Please ruin my career. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is Sam Bowden 22. That's my favourite. It's just Sam Bowden Comic on Facebook. Hopefully by June I might actually have a website, which would be nice.
And are you planning on doing something for Bris Funny Fest?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
It might be a solo show. Maybe. It might be a very weird variety hour.
Oh, I love the sound of
Like
that.
the Brady Bunch Variety
Yeah.
Hour with the solid gold dancers. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
The
yeah, no,
70s.
we've got a full cabaret act. And no, it's something that me and Joel Spargo. This is for Funny Fest. Other than that, that's about it.
Nicchia?
Always plugging All In, last Friday of every month.
Nicchia Should Comedy on
Nicchia
Facebook,
Should
yep.
Comedy, they're always there.
I just need to make a cheeky half for All In because I was at the Powerhouse Friday night at Knockoff and some dude and his mates came up to me and were like, "Hey, it's Sam." I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, good to meet you, man. I'm Dion." I was like, "Nice to meet you, Dion." And he was like, "I thought that was you up there." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was." He's like, "Yeah, you were so funny at All In the other night."
Oh, really?
And he was
wow.
the best. I'm like, "You got to go back, man. It's so good." He's like, "Yeah, man, that gig is sick. We're getting a group together next time. It's the absolute best. You were so funny up there." I'm like, "Thanks, man." And then he was like, it's just a shame about tonight, eh?" And I'm like, I was like, "Yeah." Oh, it wasn't good. I didn't do a particularly good job. But I was like, "Thanks, man." I was like, "I got to tell Nicchia."
I'll see it
Yeah.
all in. As always, you can follow Adam O'Sullivan Comedian on Facebook and visit thenerdinfinite.com.
Just a reminder, D4WH is on Facebook, so please give our page a like. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, D4WH Pod. You can rate and review us on iTunes, recommend us on Facebook, and follow us on Podbean. We're also now available on Spotify and Stitcher. Tell your friends about us. If you see someone on the street wearing a Doctor Who t-shirt, politely go up and tell them they should listen to our podcast.
Get the word out. You might be working in a department store in a boring life, and one day a strange young man comes up and grabs your hand and whispers in your ear, D4WH. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor. Thank you very much.
Goodbye!
See ya.
Are you the one grabbing the people's hands, weirdo?
This has been a production of the Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?